to sleepy angels, where tonight we are going to travel together to the edge of a calm sea and sit with the story of the night Jesus spoke to the storm, and everything grew still. Heavenly Father, we come to this quiet moment and ask that your peace, the peace that is deeper than any worry, would settle now over the one who is listening. We thank you that the same voice that calmed the water is here, in this room, in this breath, in this night. May every wave of anxious thought grow still, and may rest come gently, like morning that has always been on its way. Amen. If this space brings you peace and rest in the arms of God, please subscribe so you never miss the quiet moments and stories we bring to you each night. The day has finished. Whatever it carried, it is set down now, and so can you. There is nothing left to hold on to tonight. No decision to make. No problem to solve. No thing left undone that cannot wait, with great patience for morning. You are here, and here is exactly the right place. Just let the sound around you settle into you. Let us go somewhere together, somewhere old and warm and wide open, somewhere the water is dark and the stars are close, and the air smells of salt and cedar. We are going to the sea, just the water in the evening, doing what water has always done, moving gently, holding the light of the stars on its surface, breathing in its own slow and ancient way. And on the water, there is a boat, a simple wooden boat, wide and low and solid, the kind that has been pushed out from this same harbor many times before by many tired hands at the end of many long days. Let us begin at the harbor. The small harbor is quiet as the day lets go of its last light. Fishing nets hang still in the warm air. The water at the dock barely moves. It catches the rose and amber of the sun in its last moments, small ripples of color, soft as breath. There is a smell here, salt and cedar wood, and something sweet drifting in from somewhere on the shore behind. It is the kind of evening that makes a person breathe a little more slowly, without deciding to. The planks of the dock are warm still from the sun. The ropes creak softly against the mooring posts. Somewhere nearby, a bird settles for the night with a small, contented sound. Everything is slowing down. Everything is finding its resting place. The day is finished now, and evening has come to carry the rest of it away. One by one, people step down from the dock into the low, wide boat. Their sandals make soft sounds on the wooden planks. They find their places without much conversation, the way people do when they are tired and comfortable with one another. There is no need for words right now. There is only the simple and good act of settling. The sail is raised. It catches the night wind with a quiet, full sound, like a deep breath in, held for a moment, and then slowly released. The boat begins to move. It glides away from the dock with a gentle push. The harbor shrinks behind them, its lights growing small, its sounds fading into the larger sound of open water. Ahead, the sea opens wide and dark and full of stars. Sometimes the most peaceful thing is simply to let someone else hold the direction for a while. And at the back of the boat, at the stern, on a folded cloth that has been placed there like a pillow, Jesus lies down to rest. He does not lie down with the careful, deliberate movement of someone who is not sure whether they will be able to sleep. He lies down the way someone lies down when they are utterly at home in themselves. Simply, completely, without effort. His breathing comes slow and even. His eyes close, and there is a stillness that comes from him even while he rests. Not the stillness of someone who has gone away, but the stillness of someone whose inner world is so deeply at peace that it quietly changes the air around him. The others in the boat glance at him, once and then again, and each time they look, something in their own bodies responds to what they see. Shoulders drop a little, jaws loosen slightly. The tension that had gathered there through the long and busy day begins, very gently, to release. There is something in the sight of a peacefully resting presence that gives the heart permission to follow. The boat moves on through the early evening. The sail fills and breathes. The water parts gently at the bow and closes again behind, leaving only a soft and fatting wake. The oars are still. There is no need for them tonight. The wind is kind. The shore has disappeared behind them now. There is only water in every direction, dark and deep and alive, with a gentle, constant movement. Above, the stars have come out in their thousands, and here is something remarkable. The reflection of those stars on the water below makes it feel as though the boat is not sailing on the sea at all, but sailing through the sky. Stars above and stars below, and the boat suspended between them, cradled in light. A silence has settled. Not the silence of emptiness, not the silence of something missing, but the full silence, the kind that holds rather than abandons, the kind that feels like being inside something very large and very safe. The stars have always been there, even on the nights they were hidden. The travelers are quiet now. A few are already dozing, their chins dipped toward their chests, their arms loose at their sides. The movement of the boat has done what it has always done to tired bodies. The gentle rocking, the soft percussion of water against the hull, the warmth that has pooled in the belly of the boat where the air is still. These things together are older than any remedy. The sea has been rocking sleeping people in it since the very beginning of time, and it knows exactly how. At the stern, Jesus has not stirred. He breathes in and out, in and out. The folded cloth beneath his head is soft. The sound of the water is continuous and smooth. And somewhere in the wide dark above him, the stars are doing what stars have always done, shining without being asked, holding their places without effort, spending their light freely on everything below. Some time passes in this way. There is no hurry here, no reason to move the story forward before it is ready. These moments, the open sea, the sleeping travelers, the resting figure at the stern, the stars on the water. These moments are their own reward. They are worth sitting inside for a while. The deep places of the night hold a kind of peace that the day can never quite reach. It is the peace of things being as they are, the peace of no performance required, the peace of not being watched or measured or needed for anything, just the sea and the stars and the boat and the breathing of people who are letting themselves finally rest. Even the deepest water has a calm place at its floor where nothing moves. Far to the west, the stars begin to disappear, not all at once. Just a few first in the far corner of the sky, swallowed by something slow and wide that is moving in from the horizon. A shelf of clouds, gray and full, breathing as it comes. The wind shifts. It is just a small change. A slight turn in the direction of the air, carrying a cooler touch, a freshness that was not there before. The water beneath the boat responds with a subtle increase in its movement. Not dramatic, not alarming, just the sea adjusting, acknowledging the change in the sky above it, rocking with a little more intention now. It is not frightening. It is simply the night deepening, the way the night sometimes does. Even the changing sky has always been held within something larger and steadier than itself. The rain comes first as a whisper, a soft hiss across the surface of the water, a few meters away, then closer, then all around. The sound of it arriving on the sea is like the sound of something being poured very gently and very widely. A curtain of silver drawn across everything. Then the first drop lands on the sail, then another on the wooden side of the boat, then one on the water nearby, making its small and perfect ring. And then the rain is simply there, quiet, steady, silver gray in the dark, falling on the sail, on the wooden sides, on the water all around, filling the whole air with the most even and ancient of sounds. The travelers turn their faces upward for a moment. Some close their eyes. They feel the drops on their cheeks and foreheads, cool and soft, and then they bow their heads again and let the rain do what it has come to do. Rain has a way of reminding the body that stillness is always available just beneath the surface of things. The boat moves differently now. The sea beneath it has taken on a rhythm, a deep and rolling rhythm, like breathing, like the slow expansion and release of a great chest. The boat rises on each swell and then descends again with a long and easeful motion that the body, if it is willing, can simply surrender to. The wood creaks softly, a low, reassuring sound. The rain continues its steady percussion all around, on the water, on the sail, on every surface of the boat. A sound so continuous and so even that it stops being a collection of individual drops and becomes instead a single, seamless texture of sound, wrapping everything in its soft and unbroken fabric. It would be very easy in this moment to close one's eyes and let the rhythm of the water do its ancient work of loosening everything the day has pulled tight. One of the travelers looks toward the stern, toward the figure resting there, toward the cloth pillow and the closed eyes and the steady rise and fall of breathing that has not changed. In the middle of the rain and the rolling sea and the wide dark sky, there is that stillness. There at the back of the boat, that breathing, that complete and untroubled rest, and something about it. Something about the sight of a presence so thoroughly at peace in the middle of the changed night settles into that traveler's chest like a warm hand placed gently over a worried heart. They look a little longer, and then they look away and find that their own breathing has changed just slightly, found its way towards something steadier, as if the body, without being asked, has decided to take its cue from what the eyes have seen. Peace is not the absence of the storm. It is the presence of the one who holds it. The rain falls on, steady and silver and soft. The boat rocks in its slow and ancient rhythm. The travelers are very still now, not tense, not fearful, just held by the motion of the water, held by the sound of the rain, held by the warmth that is pooled in the center of the boat, between the wooden sides that block the wind. It is quiet enough now to notice one's own breathing, in and out. The breath has slowed without anyone asking it to. The chest rises just a little and falls again. The shoulders are lower than they were an hour ago. The hands have opened slightly in the lap. There is a quality to this moment that is not easy to name. It is the quality of things being allowed to be exactly what they are, without correction. Let us sit with another story for a little while, far away from this sea, in a different time and a different landscape, but with the same tenderness at the center of it, the same patient, unhurrying care for a person who has simply come to the end of what they can carry. There is a man named Elijah, and Elijah has been walking for a long time, not walking the way a person walks when they have somewhere good to go, walking the way a person walks when they are simply moving because stopping feels impossible. One foot and then the other, through dry land, under a wide, pale sky, with nothing around him but the silence of an empty place and the occasional movement of wind through dry grass. He is very tired, not just in his body, tired in the way that goes all the way through, down through the body, and into something deeper. The kind of tired that sleep alone cannot always fix. The kind that comes from giving everything for a very long time to something very large. The earth has always been willing to hold the ones who are too tired to hold themselves. Elijah comes to a tree. It is a wide tree, a juniper with low branches that spread outward like open arms, offering shade on the dry ground beneath. The shade is cool, and the ground beneath the tree is soft enough in its way. Soft enough. Elijah lies down. He does not find the perfect position first. He does not arrange things. He simply lies down the way someone lies down when they have nothing left, face down, arms loose, the ground beneath him solid and real and willing to hold his weight. The wilderness is warm and quiet around him. A small wind moves through the dry grass nearby, a low, continuous sound, like someone breathing very slowly and very far away. Somewhere above him, the branches of the tree shift just slightly in that wind. Their movement is quiet. Their shadow on the ground moves in the same slow way. Elijah closes his eyes, and the wilderness receives him without judgment, without instruction, just receives him the way the earth has always received the tired, without asking them first to explain themselves. Some time passes. The wilderness does not hurry. The wind moves through the grass in the same slow way. The shadow of the branches moves on the ground. The silence is not empty. It is full of small sounds. The distant call of something far away. The brief and soft movement of leaves. The sound of Elijah himself breathing, which has grown slower, deeper, more even. And then something changes in the quality of the air beside him. Not startling, not bright, not the kind of arrival that makes the heart jump. It is more like the way warmth changes when a lamp is brought into a room. The temperature near you shifts, just slightly, and you are aware of a presence before you are aware of anything else. A warmth settles near the resting man, and with it comes a smell that reaches him even through the heaviness of sleep. Something warm and fresh. Bread that has been made with care, the smell of it rising, gentle and good, like the first breath of a kind morning. Tenderness always arrives before instruction, when the heart has run itself empty. Elijah stirs. Beside him there is bread, warm, resting on a smooth stone. Beside the bread, a vessel of cool water, and a voice quieter than the wind, simpler than any instruction, that says only, "You have traveled far enough for now. Rise and eat and rest." That is all. No lecture, no explanation, no accounting of where he has been or what he has done or what should have been different. Only, here is bread, here is water, rise and eat. Elijah eats. The bread is warm in his hands. The water is cool and clean. He eats and drinks slowly, without rush, the way the body eats when it is finally being given what it truly needs. And then he lies back down, without apology, without guilt about resting. Simply back down. The ground is there. The shade is there. The warmth of the presence remains, quiet and unhurried, like a fire that does not need to announce itself. Sometimes the most sacred thing a person can do is simply lie back down and allow themselves to be restored. The tree above Elijah is very tall. Its branches hold the sky back from him in a way that feels like shelter. He does not have to look at the whole wide pale sky if he does not want to. He can look at the branches, the way they reach and divide again into smaller and smaller branches, all of them ending in their small particular leaves. The wind moves through them. The sound it makes is its own continuous, quiet language. words exactly, but something that the body hears and responds to with relaxing, with softening, with the slow, steady giving over of one tight thing after another. Elijah's breathing deepens. His chest rises. His chest falls, rises, falls. The cadence of it is so slow now, so even and unhurried, that it has become part of the sound of the wilderness itself. One more gentle rhythm inside the larger rhythm of this wide, quiet, uncomplicated place. The wilderness holds him while he sleeps. There is a kind of stillness that only comes in the deepest part of the night, when every creature that belongs to the day has gone quiet. When the world is not asleep in the way of early evening, that restless, half-awake sleep, but truly, completely, deeply quiet. The way the world goes quiet only in those few hours that belong entirely to darkness and rest. In that stillness, something is present, not demanding, not asking for anything, not waiting for a response, just here, in the warmth of the air, in the quiet that presses gently on closed eyelids, in the sensation of the breath moving in and moving out, without effort, without anyone choosing it. It is a presence that has been here the whole time, in the boat on the water, under the tree in the wilderness, in every room where a tired and quietly faithful person has laid their head and let the night begin its work. The quiet that comes after everything settles is never empty. It is where the most faithful presence waits. We return now to the sea. The rain is still falling, but listen to it. Really listen. There is something in the sound of it on the water, that continuous silver percussion, that filling of all the quiet spaces between things, that is not alarming at all. It is simply sound, steady sound, the most ancient and reliable of white noises. Rain falling on water, the way it has fallen for longer than memory reaches. The boat rocks, slowly, a lifting and a lowering, a lifting and a lowering. The wood creaks its low note. The sail is dark and heavy with moisture. The air smells clean now, that smell that rain always brings, like the world being gently washed and then laid out to dry. And at the stern, Jesus still rests. The rain falls on him as it falls on everything, and he does not stir, because the rain is not a reason to stir, because nothing that is happening is a reason to be anything other than at peace. And the peace that lives in him is not the kind that depends on conditions being comfortable. It is the other kind, the older kind, the kind that lives beneath everything, underneath all weathers, underneath all tides. There is a stillness underneath all things that nothing has ever been able to disturb. The travelers have grown very quiet, not frightened, just quiet, just held. The sound of the rain and the sound of the water and the sound of the wood and the slow, collective breath of people in a small space together. It has all woven itself into something that the body recognizes as safe. One of them has their eyes closed. Their head is resting against the side of the boat. The wood is smooth beneath them. The motion of the sea rocks them with a patience that has no limit. Their hands are open in their lap. Another one is watching the water, not anxiously, just watching, the way you watch a fire or a candle without needing it to do anything. Just watching the surface of things shift and catch the light and shift again. The boat holds them all. The water holds the boat. And something holds the water, something that has held it since before it was water. Something that knows every drop of it by its place and its nature and its path. Even the deepest water has a calm place at its floor where nothing moves. Then, and this happens not dramatically, not with force or theater, but simply, quietly, the resting figure at the stern of the boat shifts. Jesus sits up. He does so slowly, with no urgency, with the ease of someone who was not woken by something frightening, but simply arrived in his own time at being awake again. He sits and looks at the water, at the rain, at the moving gray sky, and then he speaks, not loudly, not in the voice of someone commanding a battle, in a quieter register than that, the kind of voice that does not need to be raised, because what is being said is simply true, and truth does not need volume. What he speaks is not a performance for anyone watching. It is simply what is so, being said aloud into the rain and the dark and the wide moving water, and the rain hears it, not all at once, but it begins very gently to hear. A slightly longer pause between drops on the sail, a softening of the hiss across the surface of the water. The drops grow lighter. The wind eases. The rolling of the boat finds its way towards something calmer. Sometimes all it takes is the right voice, spoken gently, to remind the storm that it was never in charge. The rain slows. It is almost imperceptible at first. A few more seconds between drops. The hiss across the water growing softer, and then softer still. The drops themselves becoming smaller, lighter, barely touching the surface before they are gone. Further apart, and further apart, until they are only occasional, like the last few notes of a long piece of music, finding their way, one by one, to silence. And then the wind is gone, not slammed away, not cut off, just dissolved. The last of it moves through the sail and through the rigging and out over the water, and then simply is not there anymore. And the sail falls against the mast with the softest sound imaginable. And the boat is still. The release always comes, quieter than the storm itself, and so much larger. What remains when the storm is gone is almost beyond the reach of words. The water is completely still, a dark mirror, stretching in every direction, so flat and so perfect that the returning stars are reflected in it without any distortion at all. Just stars above and stars below, and the boat between them, suspended in light. And for a long held moment, it is impossible to tell where the sea ends and the sky begins. The boat sits on the stillness, without moving. Not a creak, not a sway. The ropes hang straight and still. The sail rests against the mast. The air itself has gone quiet in a way that feels like a held breath. The whole world inhaling deeply and then simply holding. Holding, not exhaling yet. Just holding in the fullness of the thing. After every storm, no matter how long it lasted, there has always been water this still waiting underneath. Slowly, one by one, like small lamps being placed in a window, the stars come back into the sky. First, just a few, in the places where the clouds have thinned the most. One star, then 3, then 7, and then more and more as the cloud draws back in the way clouds always eventually draw back. Not defeated, just finished. Just done with what they came to do. And then the canopy opens, and the whole sky is there. Star upon star upon star, layered and ancient and without counting. Some bright and close and clear, some far and faint and barely a suggestion. All of them part of the same unhurried arrangement that has been there since before the boat, before the sea, before the night. The travelers lie back and look up. Their faces are very relaxed. Their eyes move slowly from one part of the sky to another. The way the eyes move when they have given up looking for something specific and are simply receiving. Receiving light. Receiving the gift of being small beneath something very large and very beautiful and very, very safe. The stars kept their place the whole time. They were only waiting for the clouds to finish. For a little while now, let us simply rest inside this moment on the still water. There is no hurry to go anywhere. The story does not need to rush toward an ending. The ending is not the point. The point is this. The water that was wild is now still. The sky that was covered is now open. The rain that was falling is now done. And the presence that was at the back of the boat, resting in complete peace through all of it, that presence is still here. Not asleep this time. Awake and looking out over the water with a gentleness that has not changed and will not change. That presence is also in this room. Not loud, not demanding, not asking for anything from you right now. Just here. The way warmth is here. The way stillness is here. The way the breath in your chest is here. Moving in and moving out without you having to remember to ask it to. There is a peace so deep it does not need the storm to stop before it begins. Now let us travel once more. Inland this time. Away from the sea. Through the softening of the night toward a wide field at the end of the day. The light here is amber. The last light of the evening. Deep gold and soft at its edges. The kind of light that makes everything it touches look as though it has always been where it is and will always be where it is and has never been in a hurry about any of it. The field opens out in this light, deep grass, the color of summer, with a slow stream crossing through it that catches the amber sky on its surface and carries it downstream in small, bright pieces. It is quiet here. The sounds of the day have gone into the distance and settled there. remains is the sound of the grass in the light wind, the sound of the stream, and the sound of sheep, their movements unhurried, their wool catching the last warmth of the sun, moving through the grass with the slow and easy confidence of creatures who have never once had to wonder whether they are being watched over, to be known completely and still be followed with a gentle eye. This is what it means to be tended. The shepherd walks behind them, easy in his stride, holding his staff loosely, not as a weapon, not as a tool of correction, just as a presence in his hand. His gaze moves over the flock with the particular attention of someone who loves what they are looking at. Not anxiously, not with the tense vigilance of someone who is afraid of losing something, simply with love. Each one is known to him, not by category or by type, but individually. This one who always walks at the edge, this one who tends to lag a little, this one who has always been quick. He knows them the way you know something you have cared for through all its seasons, and they know him, not through complex thought, through something older and simpler, through the sound of his movement behind them, through the particular quality of his presence, through the way the air around him feels like a boundary that holds everything good inside it and keeps everything unwelcome at its edge. There is always a watchfulness over us that does not tire, does not look away, and does not grow bored with caring. The flock moves toward the lower ground as the light goes. They know the way. They have walked it many evenings before. The grass grows thicker here and softer, and the ground is gentle beneath their feet. The stream is closer now, its murmuring continuous and pleasant, not loud enough to startle, just present enough to fill the air with its unhurried voice. One by one, they lower themselves into the grass. It is an act of complete trust to lower the whole weight of the body onto the ground, to fold the legs beneath, to settle the body down, to let the grass receive the weight that has been carried all day. They do not look around anxiously first. They simply go down because they are tired, and the ground is soft, and the shepherd is near, and the shepherd settles, not far away, close enough that his presence is felt, not intrusive, just there, the way the warmth of a fire is there, even when you are not facing it. He leans against a rock. His staff rests across his knees, and around him, the last of the evening light goes slowly out of the sky. The shepherd's fire does not make the dark disappear. It simply makes it gentle. The fire is small, a campfire, low and warm, built with the careful attention of someone who knows how to build a fire for comfort rather than for brightness. It does not leap or crackle loudly. It burns with a steady amber core, constant and warm, and it sends up a thin thread of pale smoke that rises without hurry into the darkening air. The light of it falls outward in a soft radius, not far, just far enough to make the nearby grass visible, and the nearest sheep visible, and the rock the shepherd leans against visible, and the hands resting on the staff visible. Just enough light to feel in the world rather than outside it. The sheep breathe, slowly, evenly, a collective sound, the breathing of a whole field's worth of resting creatures. If you listen, it settles into a rhythm, in and out, slower than waking breath, more open, more given over to the night and the grass and the warmth and the simple animal truth of being alive and safe and tired and at rest. Warmth that does not demand anything in return is the closest thing the body knows to grace. The stream speaks. Its voice is continuous and murmuring, not urgent, not quiet enough to miss, but exactly the right volume for lying still and letting the mind release its hold on whatever it has been gripping. The water moves over smooth stones. The stones do not resist. They have been shaped by the water over a long, long time, shaped into their smoothness by the very thing that moves over them. And now the relationship between the water and the stone is one of complete cooperation. The water goes where it goes. The stones receive it. The sound of it fills all the small spaces between thoughts. And in those small spaces where the sound has reached, there is nothing that needs doing, nothing that needs deciding, nothing that needs to be held or managed or figured out. Just the sound of water moving over stone steadily in the deep of the comfortable night. Water moving over stone does not hurry and has never once failed to find its way. The shepherd is half sleeping now. His chin has dropped just slightly toward his chest. His breathing is slow. His hands are still on the staff. He is not unaware. He is never fully unaware. But his body has given itself over to the deep rest of someone who is at ease with the night, at ease with the field, at ease with the quiet responsibility of being exactly where he is. The flock breathes around him. The fire glows amber and warm at its low, steady core. The stream speaks its patient, continuous language nearby. And above all of this, above the field and the flock and the fire and the stream and the shepherd resting with his staff across his knees, the stars are out in their full and ancient numbers, bright, countless, arranged in the same slow patterns they have held since before any person lay in any field under any night and looked up at them. The night sky has been spread above sleeping people since before memory began, and it will be spread above them still. Let us rest here in this field for a little while. There is no need to move on just yet. The grass is soft beneath you. The air is warm enough, with a slight coolness in it that makes the warmth of the fire feel particularly welcome. The sound of the stream is there. The sound of the breathing all around is there. And above you, just look at all that light, star upon star, layer upon layer, some so bright they cast the faintest of shadows, some so faint they can only be seen when the eye is not looking directly at them. All of them old, all of them constant, all of them there whether the clouds are covering them or not. The vastness above was never meant to overwhelm. It was always meant to remind us how much space there is for us inside it. There is a warmth that has nothing to do with the temperature of the room. It lives in the chest, somewhere behind the ribs, in the soft center of the body, where the breath goes when it goes deepest. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. It simply settles. The way a hand, placed gently and with complete care over a worried heart, settles. You feel it before you name it. The slight increase in warmth in that particular place. The loosening of something that had been quietly held tight for so long that you had stopped noticing it was tight. It is there now. It has been there the whole time, through the rain and through the still water and through the tree in the wilderness and through the amber field and the stream. It has been there through all of it, patient as the stars, quiet as the shepherd's presence in the dark. The peace that has always been waiting did not go anywhere during the storm. It was only covered for a little while. We return once more to the water. The boat is still, completely still, on the glass-dark surface of the sea that is now so quiet it seems to have forgotten it was ever anything else. The ropes hang slack. The sail has been lowered and folded. It rests in a neat, heavy bundle against the mast. A small lantern has been hung at the bow, and its light falls out across the water in a long, golden path. The lantern swings just barely, the gentlest movement. Not the movement of wind. There is no wind. Just the settling of everything, the tiny adjustments that the world makes when it has stopped doing something large and is finding its way back to complete quiet. And the reflection of the lantern on the water below doubles the warmth of it. One light above, one light below, both reaching toward the other, both making the dark around them not darker by contrast, but softer, warmer, more held. Even a small light, when everything around it is still, reaches further than it knows. The travelers in the boat are not quite awake, not quite asleep. They are in the place between that territory that belongs to neither one and to both. The body has already arrived at sleep. The mind is still present, just barely, moving slowly through whatever remains of the world before it follows the body the rest of the way down. One of them has their hand trailing in the water over the side of the boat. The water is warm enough, smooth. It parts around the hand without effort and closes again behind it. It does not push back or pull. It just receives the hand, holds it, flows gently past it. The stars above are mirrored in the stillness below. And for just a moment, in that soft and half-dreaming state, it is truly impossible to tell up from down, inside from outside, the dreamer from the dream, to be held without being gripped. This is the deepest kind of safety. The boat barely exists as a separate thing anymore. It has become part of the water. The water has become part of the night. The night has become part of something larger still. Something that has no edge and no boundary and no end. Something warm and present and perfectly still at its center. The ropes have gone slack. The sail is down. the lantern burns on, and in the boat, people rest in that in-between place, the body gone ahead, the mind still present just at its edges, not quite ready to let go of the last thin thread of awareness, but feeling it loosening, feeling the warmth and the stillness drawing it further down, into the deep, quiet place where all the storms of all the days finally stop reaching. There is a place just before sleep where the body has already arrived and is simply waiting with great patience for the rest of us. Somewhere in the deepest part of this night, the whole world has gone still. Not just the sea, everything. The field where the sheep are breathing. The wilderness where the tired man rests beneath his tree. The wide sky above every one of these places, where the stars hold their ancient positions with complete, unconcerned faithfulness. In the stillness, no wind moves, no leaf turns, no wave rises. There is only the low and constant warmth underneath everything. The warmth that has been there since before the first morning, since before the first wave, since before the first tired creature lay down in the first field under the first wide sky and let the night hold them. The deepest part of the night has always been the safest. It is when the world rests most completely. Think for a moment of that presence in the boat, that voice that spoke to the rain and the wind and the wide dark water and was heard. It is the same voice that whispered beside the sleeping man in the wilderness. The same presence that carried the warmth of bread and the coolness of water to someone who had nothing left. The same watchfulness that walks behind the flock in the amber evening, knowing each one by name. It is here, not distant, not waiting for a better time or a more deserving moment. Here, now, in the stillness of this room, in the warmth that lives behind your ribs, in the slow and faithful movement of your own breath, in and out, without effort, without your management. Whatever you have been carrying today, whatever weight has traveled with you into this quiet hour, it has been seen, it has been known, and you are not required to carry it one moment further tonight. What cannot be carried tonight is not required to be carried tonight. The fire in the shepherd's field has burned down very low, just coals now, amber at their center, a warmth that radiates rather than flickers, a light that does not cast shadows so much as it simply warms the air near it into a gentle gold. The shepherd's breathing is deep and slow. The flock breathes with him. This whole field of creatures, each one known, each one in its place, each one breathing the same slow night air in the same slow rhythm. The stream moves by in the dark. Its voice is softer now in some way. Not quieter exactly, but softer. The way everything goes softer in the very deep of the night. The edges of things become less distinct. The line between the sound and the silence becomes less clear. It all blends into one thing. One warm, continuous, softly breathing thing. And you are inside it. The same breath, the same warmth, the same ancient and faithful stillness. inside it with the sheep and the shepherd, and the stream and the stars, and the resting man beneath his tree, and the travelers in their boat on the glass-dark water. The shepherd's fire burns all night, whether or not the sheep are watching it. Let the thought go that just arrived. You don't need it right now. It will be there in the morning, if it is truly important. Morning will come, as it always does, not rushed, not late, but in its own faithful time, with its own light and its own particular quality of air. And everything that needs to be thought about in the morning will be available in the morning. But right now, it is not morning. Right now it is this: the dark, the warmth, the stillness, and the breath, your own breath, moving in and out, with a patience that the body has always had, a patience that does not waver, that does not grow uncertain, that simply continues and continues and continues. The breath knows what the mind sometimes forgets: how to release without deciding to. The stars are very bright tonight. They are very close, not in any alarming way, just in the way that things seem closer when the world has gone very quiet, when there is no noise to fill the distance between you and them, when the air has gone so still and so clean that the light travels through it without losing anything. Star upon star upon star. Some of them have been in the sky for so long that the light you are seeing left them before the boat was built, before the harbor was built, before the sea was given its name. The light is old, ancient, really, and it has traveled all that time and all that distance to arrive here in this exact moment, at the exact place where you are. Being held is not the same as being stopped. It is being carried without effort. The lantern on the water still burns. Its golden path lies across the stillness from bow to the far edge of the light's reach, and does not waver. The boat beneath it does not move. The water around it does not move. Everything has come to rest. The long day, with its decisions and its questions and its unnamed worries that traveled in the back of the mind through all of it. The long day is so far behind now. It exists the way the shore existed once the boat had moved out far enough onto the sea. Barely a suggestion, barely a memory. Not gone, but not here either. Here is only the lantern, and the light on the water, and the stillness, and something that has been here the whole time, patient and quiet, without requiring your attention to remain. Every good shepherd finds a resting place before the night is through. You are resting now. Perhaps the body has already gone somewhere soft and dark, and very far from thinking. Perhaps you can still feel the edges of your hands, your face, the particular weight of your own body against what is beneath you. Either way, it is right. Either way, the night is doing its work. That ancient, faithful, unhurried work of restoring the body, while the mind releases its grip on the day. There is no correct way to be right now. There is only this moment, and the next, and the slow breathing that continues on its own, without help, without management, finding its own way deeper and deeper into the good and quiet dark. Rest has been offered freely, without condition, since the very first evening, far at the edge of everything, somewhere beyond all the water and all the fields and all the wilderness and all the sleeping places where the tired and faithful are resting tonight. Far at that edge, something is only beginning to be considered. Not yet light, not close to light, just the first, faintest softening of the very darkest part of the dark. The way a sky looks before it even knows it is going to become morning. The promise of warmth, still hours away. The intention of light, folded into the dark like something sleeping. Morning has always been on its way. It has never once failed to come. Not once, in all the time that mornings have been coming. It comes without effort and without announcement and without needing to be asked. But that is for much later. Right now, the night is still full and soft and good, and everything in it is resting. And resting is exactly the right and only thing. Morning is always coming, quietly, faithfully, without rushing. And tonight, rest is the gift being given. The water is still. The shepherd's fire burns low and warm. And somewhere in the quiet, beneath all the breathing and all the softness and all the starlight, you are held, completely, gently, without condition. You can rest now. You are safe, and you are not alone.